What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, joined once again by the one, the only, Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely thirsty.
Don't say that. That
No.
can
Oh.
be taken in the wrong context.
You think they'll misconstrue that?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. It's the internet.
Well, I guess I have no other choice than but to be infinitely awesome.
There you
Thank
go.
you for asking, sir.
It's
How are you
much
doing?
better. Much better. I am doing wonderful. I'm doing fantastic because you know why?
Do not. If you tell me, I'll know.
Because Rick and Morty is back for season 7.
Ooh.
Yes, we are going to be
Ah.
talking about the first episode of season
Oh my
7 of
God.
Rick and Morty. But before we jump into
Oh,
it, if you
hey.
don't know what this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of superpowered movie, TV shows, even trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them, and we ask the question, is it super?
Is it? I know it's blurry, but that's the effect I was going for. I was going for blurry, clear, blurry, 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 clear.
You
Let me know
absolutely
if
achieved it.
I
100%.
am a winner. I was born this way.
But if you like this kind of nonsense, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
Hey man, if nothing else, for a good time.
That is true.
Sometimes you gotta, sometimes you gotta pay extra for that. Look at that, we give it to you for free.
That goes back
Right?
to that infinitely
Yeah.
thirsty thing.
Oh, all right. Let me remedy that real fast. Rick and Morty, 100 years. We're back, baby. Okay,
Working
first
on those
things
100 years.
first. We got to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Spider,
Right.
can you tell the difference in the voice acting, the removal of Justin Roiland from the Rick and Morty franchise to Mr. I saw his name,
Mm-hmm.
but forgive me because I'm horrible with names. So the new voice for Rick and Morty.
I don't remember who the new actor is,
See that?
but
Spider love y'all. I can see him doing research right now for y'all that he immediately stopped doing when he
yeah,
worked out.
but I gave up on the search because I know it's going to take longer than it was going to be for me to
But
formulate
he
my
did
thought.
the search though. That's the point of what I'm trying to let y'all
I'm sure
understand.
I'll
How
be
much
able
he
to
was gonna
find it
do it.
at some point. But
No
so
disrespect, sir. I know you probably feel disrespected.
but in all honesty, for the voice of Morty, and I know we kind of talked about it when we reviewed the season 7 trailer or reacted to the season 7 trailer. The voice of
We do a
Morty,
lot
I
of stuff
could
on this show.
we way too much sometimes. Um, but the voice of Morty, I can tell that there's a distinct difference. So, like I said, it sounds like he's just gotten a year older, right? So he 15, 16-year-old Morty to where now his voice has gotten a little bit deeper. So it's still Morty
Mm,
as far as what he's saying and how he's saying it, but the voice is just kind of like a tinge deeper than what
mm.
Justin Roiland did. Now, Rick,
I
on the
like
other
that
hand,
keyword tinge. Tinge.
but
I like
Rick,
that.
on the other hand, to be 100% honest, it
Here we
didn't
go.
sound too dissimilar from Justin Roiland's. Like
What?
it was done well enough to where I could easily watch the show, and especially because this episode was heavy on Rick, light on Morty, but it's never like took me out of the episode. It was like, oh, I can hear I can like clearly hear the difference. Like for me,
Mm.
it was similar enough to where it didn't bother me. To me, it just sounded like I was listening to Justin Roiland.
Well, the only thing that I was saying about this switch over from Justin Roiland to Mr. I'm so sorry. I'm just not even gonna reference this anymore because I feel like I
let
twist
me
the
let me
knife every
find it
time.
because I feel like it's gonna
But
bother us.
well, you know, we want to be respectful, and I don't mean any disrespect, but clearly I'm giving it out. So I apologize again.
Ian
But
Cardoni.
that's what I didn't say. Didn't say it at all.
Ian
Ian Card.
Cardoni is doing Rick, and Harry Belden is doing Morty.
I know. I remember we said that it's good that they pulled them apart because
Yeah,
it gives them their independence. But uh here's what I was saying. I barely noticed. I barely noticed. Barely noticed.
hmm,
But it wasn't a whole lot not to notice. I think if you were trying to notice, you could have noticed. But if you were just immersed, I think you were fine. In my
yeah,
opinion.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But we pick up season 7, episode 1. Mr. Poopy Butthole is in the house. He's in the house with the Smiths, and he's doing the narration that he has been doing, you know, in between seasons at the beginning of the bookend of the season. We'll see Mr. Poopy Butthole, and we do remember last season that he did lose his job. He lost his wife. He lost his child.
Mhm.
He got shot. He had both his legs broken.
Yeah,
So I take it the Smiths took him in, which is weird because at the end of last season he wasn't there.
no,
There's an overall conspiracy since season 1, episode 4, with, and for those who don't know, season 1, episode 4 is when everybody was trapped in the house and everybody had the good memories. There was only 6 people in the house,
the
but there are more people in the
parasites.
house. The parasite, it's one of the linchpins that made Rick and Morty what it is. One of the most popular episodes. Some will argue probably the most popular episode. There's a conspiracy that says Mr. Poopy Butthole, again, their names, um, has put parasites in us, the audience. And he
Really?
since then has been, because they released the blast door, so now he's infected everyone. Because he wasn't there last season, right? He wasn't with the Smith family.
No.
But yet and still he kind of popped up there, and it's like we have these happy memories or maybe sad memories of Mr. Poopy Butthole while everybody else has happy memories. I don't know. It's a conspiracy. It's out there, but who knows? Um, there you go. So we starting with that, and then we're doing the intervention because Bet's had enough. He got to get out of there. So now Rick doesn't want to do the intervention by himself. He gets the band back together. Start tying up some loose ends too from seasons prior.
Yeah.
We see Squanchy is not dead because the last time we saw Squanchy, the Federation was attacking. He
Right.
snapped that tooth out, went all squanch. We don't know if he made it out alive.
And it's funny because when Gearhead and Rick show up at Squanch's house and he opens the door and he says, "See, I told you he wasn't dead." So it's like they knew that we as the audience had that question in our heads like, okay, well, we haven't seen him in what, like 2 seasons at that point? So like, is he dead? And
Right.
they answer the question for us.
Then the last time we seen Gearhead, he was telling us that's not even his name, so I'm surprised
Right.
that we came back to that. He got his gears, let's just say rearranged,
Yes.
and call back, got rearranged again.
Why is this my thing now?
I don't, I don't need to see it. No, it's not real. That's
I
penalty.
mean, it seems like that if he's going to be on the episode, that's what we're going to see.
We found out Bird Person did save his daughter from the Galactic Federation prison.
Mm-hmm.
And she's living with him being a preteen or a teenager. So he had to get her for quite some time because remember she was somewhat of a toddler when she was in there.
Trying to remember. I remember her being in prison because I remember it was like a post credit type of thing, but
Right.
I can't remember how old she looked.
But she definitely wasn't in her goth stage like she is
No,
now.
like she is now.
And you know, it's it's cool that they're kind of tying up some of these loose ends.
Yeah,
Not a whole lot going on inside the family though. This was pretty centric
no,
around standalone episode of getting the gang back together essentially. So if there was a, let's say, trouble on the horizon, you would know who the gang would be
right.
that we would get back together.
And Gary. No, not Gary. Gene.
And Gene, who knew? I never thought Rick would
who
hang out with
knew?
Gene.
Who knew Gene could get that wild though?
Turned up, pissing inside of a cement truck with alcohol in it.
that
The alcohol is
was,
in the pee is in
that
the
was so
alcohol.
dumb. That was
You
so
guys don't
dumb.
make no
Why?
sense. Not making any.
Why was there a toilet in there?
It's in the front.
And I really thought he was just directing him to the front of the truck so he could just like go piss in the corner or something. But no, there was really a toilet in the cement mixer.
And that's what you gotta love about Rick and Morty. It
Oh
doesn't make
man.
sense.
But like you said, it was less of a Rick and your typical Rick and Morty adventure and more of something for Rick to do. But I do appreciate that even at the beginning of the episode, we get Rick looking at what appeared to be the what is the finite curve?
Central finite curve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but wasn't it destroyed?
Uh, Good question. I think what you were thinking was the central finite curve was more of those potentials of where Rick Prime could be.
Okay, but in any regard, I do
Or
appreciate.
is. No, sorry,
Well,
not
yeah,
could be where he
where he
is.
is,
Oh,
yeah. But I do appreciate that we did get that, just a little side comment that, of course, Rick is still looking for him, because he gives Morty shit. He was like, "Oh, did you find him? Oh, yeah, I just found the other me that killed my wife right before you came in." But so we
they are.
still go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that we still have, in the
Please.
background of the stories that we see this season, we know that this is still on Rick's mind, that he hasn't
Right.
given up his search.
And it goes to show you the complexity of how complex it is. The smartest man in the universe, or presumably so, still
Smartest man
can't
in
find
every
him.
universe.
Well, every universe he created. Remember, he had a hand in there somewhere along the line, putting Jerry's and Bets together and making Morty's and
Yeah,
giving yourself the technology. You kind of made your own central finite curve, which I understand. They had a Morty that wanted to get out. It all makes sense, but it still doesn't stop the fact that this psychopath murdered your family, and
right.
you're looking for revenge. So you got up with his Morty, thinking that he would come to back to his Morty, but you can see he doesn't care about his Morty at all.
No, not in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about anybody. Uh, Good luck finding him, and it just shows to show how hard it is to find him. Even when he found him the first time, he was in an invisible fortress that was in space.
Right.
How boss is that? That's some boss.
I
I'm in an
mean,
invisible fortress in space,
I'm always
and
here, but you will never know it.
it's like it's cool. I shoot the first monitor too. So it's like I'm right here, or is it a clone, or is it me? Yes, me. Bye. Like, how long was he there to even be there when Rick got there? That's
Who
crazy.
knows? Who knows? But I mean,
Are we
that's
gonna
the
touch
allure of
on
the
it?
show.
Are we gonna touch on it again on in this season, or is this think it's something that is a loose thread that's gonna linger on because Rick and Morty 100 years.
Right. No, I think that at some point
You,
we've got a maybe not a resolution, but we still have to get some kind of continuation of the
of
pursuit
course.
or something. Um, will it happen in
What they
this
say
season? I hope
one a
so.
season though, right? They say one progressive story in a season. I think that's what they finally
Did they?
resolved. I don't know. I could be making it all up. Who knows? Is this the universe that I get it right?
We'll find out when we see finish out the rest of the season. But
Yes.
will it happen in the season? I don't know. I would like for it to, but I I would really hope that just that one comment at the beginning of episode 1 isn't the only, you know, continuation of that story that we get. I think that would be a real disservice to the season because even though we are going through the wacky adventures with everybody in the family, because of course Summer's got to have her episode, Jerry's got to have his episode, Beth and Space and Beth have to have theirs, so we go through all of these different
Morty has
adventures
to have
and
a
antics.
fantasy.
Right, Morty has to have some type of fantasy where he either meets a girl
Have
or
a
gets some type of creature pregnant.
he did get
But
the dragon pregnant.
well, I mean, a dragon had other intentions.
So did Mr. Bean.
Yeah, that they really went there with that episode.
They don't like fantasies. They like science. They don't like fantasy. Any fantasy episode, I guarantee you, is gonna get weird.
It is absolutely going to get weird. But yeah, just having something outside of that, because of course we that this is to set it up that he's still thinking about it, he's still after it. But I don't want them to be so far away from it that they can't come back to it. Because even though that there are
Mm.
random things that happen every episode, we've seen plenty of times that they come and bring something back, 3 seasons later. So it's nice to know that we can have these crazy adventures and know that there could be ramifications for the things that they're doing. There, we might never come back to this planet or to this universe, but in the off chance that we do go back to Jelly Bean Village or wherever they
I
were
hope. Well,
before,
Mr. Jellybean's dead, but
yeah. But if we ever do go back to that, universe or to that place, we'll see that statue, and
yeah,
it might
because he
cause
had to live
Morty
on.
to rage out and then break in and now they're in a war with the entire village. And but
Ooh, cut the check. That's a nice storyline right there.
but it's nice to know that there's so many possibilities because whatever happened in this episode could potentially come back. Like when they went back to the original Earth and they saw all the Cronenbergs and what happened to that, Earth after they went back. It's you think that they're done with it, and then 2 seasons down the line they come back and revisit it. But it is they do such a good job with it because it's not like it doesn't feel like they're recycling old material to
Right.
make a new episode. It really feels like it was just extremely long to be continued that we didn't know we were going to get, and it's just they pick up right where they left off, and credit to the writers and all the showrunners over there at Rick and Morty because they do a hell of a job in keeping all of this stuff connected because they do some random crazy nonsense, but for them to keep that on track and all, like we were talking about I think last season, like all the different names of the aliens and different devices and all this other kind of stuff, and they just have that lexicon of all of that where they could just pull out of it for a new episode, even if they don't go back to another planet or another dimension. They'll have some type of tool that they got from one of their adventures over there, and you go back and watch it, and they might not even
Hold on,
mention it in that episode that Rick might just be in the background and pick something up, and then it'll just show up like 2 seasons later.
Hold on, Spider. You ain't gonna
What's
drop
up?
words like lexicon and then say tool after. Oh, I get it. You give them a big one, and then you let their brain kind of slow down,
Right.
so you
You
can
can't
start
just
using.
it can't
Oh, you
just
can't go
be
back to back. Okay, I
it can't
see.
just
That's why
be
I don't have that power. I would abuse it.
it can't be
I
hit
hit
after
y'all
hit
with.
after hit after hit. You
I
got to give them
hit
something to
y'all with.
miss so you can bring it back.
I hit y'all so brutal. It'll be elemental peel. I hit y'all with words like elemental peel, and just deal with it. Just hold on to that. Not a word.
It is absolutely not. But so we get Rick and they have, he gets the gang back together and they say
Wait,
that,
you know what I'm thinking,
what's
Sweater?
up?
Seriously? This whole episode of Rick and Morty, this season 7, episode 1, this is an entourage episode. It's real entourage-ish.
Yeah.
Intervention or a fake intervention. We go
hmm
out, we see a celebrity in Hugh Jackman,
I
right?
I was so shocked that they actually got Hugh Jackman after
The
all of the
real
stuff
Hugh
that he
Jackman.
was saying in that episode. I was like, okay, they got a Hugh Jackman impersonator, and he'd never say those type of things. Then I get to the credits and it's guest starring Hugh Jackman. I was like, oh, okay,
Got
so
him.
he's
Got him.
he's a wild one. He can because we've gotten this before with some celebrity cameos for Rick and Morty, and it's just like I
Mhm.
would have never thought that they would, get into this kind of nonsense. But
Rick and Morty is big, man.
Rick and Morty is
They
huge.
got they got the clout. They can just make a phone call and they be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do Rick and Morty."
So is
Who
that Dan
wouldn't do Rick
Harmon
and Morty?
saying that MCU is stealing all his writers? So let me get Hugh Jackman before he shows up in an MCU movie?
I think they're all connected. I don't think they're
Probably.
not connected because you know Hugh Jackman's in Deadpool. He's come to the MCU. MCU still Dan Harmon's writers. Dan Harmon created the MCU.
Essentially.
Hey, hey, it's all connected. One of the coolest things in Infinity War is when Spider-Man showed up when Tony Stark was fighting with the alien's name,
Ebony Maw.
the other one.
Oh, Call Obsidian.
Yeah. Say, hey, Mr. Stark. I just wanted to put that in there for no reason whatsoever.
Absolutely none.
Yeah.
But no, 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 and you're right because the whole thing about and I love the twist because it's so convincing that you know they're trying to be good friends by having this intervention with Mr. Poopy Butthole and try
Right.
to like get him out of his funk, but Mr. Poopy Butthole shows them without us even knowing how
Uh-huh.
horrible they are. It's like if you really cared about me, you would have known that today is not my birthday.
Not my birth. How crappy is that,
How
right?
good of a
Like,
friend
why would
are
you
you? A
pretend to be
good
your birth?
friend, right? But it's the thing about it is like this is a for lack of a better term, this is a man who's lost everything. He's lost his job. He's lost his wife. He
Mm.
lost his kid. He's thinking that he's alone in this world. He thought that he could have the Smiths to, help rely on, and now they want to kick him out. And like you say, you think I don't know a half-ass intervention when I see one, and it's
It
like
was half-assed.
you feel for him in that moment because he's like, I just want to be able to get this, my wife back, get this person that I love back. And here I think my friends might actually want to spend time with me because they know I'm having such a hard time and you just want to like give me shit for my emotional state, right? So he's like, so
Mm.
you come here to like try to fix me, so I'm gonna fuck with you guys, and it's my birthday. But like Bird Person said, going to the fuck you restaurant or whatever wasn't the best choice to get humiliated by just a random waiter while he's
Somebody
taking your
told me
drink
that.
orders.
They told me that I want to go to a place like that. I said it's not best for me to go to places like that. You
No.
know, with
I
the
don't
rude
I don't
service.
understand the appeal of it. like people actually enjoy that, getting yelled at, getting cursed at, getting humiliated, talked about, and all this other kind of stuff just to sit there and order food. I don't know. I couldn't do that.
I'm different. I'm just saying, for each their own, enjoy.
Yeah,
I can't. I seen on the internet they brought their grandmother, and oh my god, it was
I
like
can't even begin to imagine.
she was like, "Y'all gonna let this talk to me like this? What is
Right, and
going
it's the
on?"
worst when they invite people and they don't tell them what kind of restaurant they're going
Right,
to, and you
right.
just have to sit there and like, this is not what I was expecting. And
And
now I have this
also,
person, like reading me for filth head to toe. It's like, ma'am, I don't know you. I didn't do anything to you. Why are you talking about, my long earlobes or something?
hmm, there's gonna
It's
be an
ridiculous.
incident. I know that. I know that. Gonna be an incident. You got the might have to jump dimensions, Rick and Morty style.
Might have to.
So I thought it was real entourage-ish,
Hmm.
which is not a bad thing. I mean, Entourage is one of the great shows. Well, we know Rick and Morty parody shows all the time.
Yeah, and
Um,
that might have been their intentions.
I can't see how it wasn't. It felt real. I mean, again, the intervention is something like I didn't watch Entourage. Sorry, so I can't tell you which episode it was, but I really feel like it was real Entourage. This kind of what's the other big show that was huge? Not on HBO though. Shameless,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
shameless kind of episode. We got the group back together. We're gonna do this intervention, which turns into a party. We go out, we meet a celebrity, we go back to the celebrity house. Celebrity drop words of wisdom, which eventually we have conflict within the group,
Hmm.
separate, only to come back together to overcome the situation with the previous plan, which was obviously to go get Amy, and then have the whole script flip because Amy moved all the way on with the Predator. So
that he hired to watch her.
to watch her, ain't that a twist? Uh, and then Mr. Poopy Butthole, I can't say he abducted his child because it's his child,
I
but
mean,
to show you
it
the
was
quality of father he was,
still
he's like, I'm going to get
abducted.
my son and we out. Go rub this mud on us because we don't want the predator to find us.
Daddy, what's happening? In the way that they jumped the predator and they were about to kill him, and then the kid starts crying for the predator. Oh man.
Because apparently the predator been established itself.
Yes.
Uh, can we just talk about Squanchy grabbing that bottom, saying
And stabbing him in the
"suck my
leg.
squash, suck my squash"? I was the only one. Okay,
Oh
yeah,
my
that was
god.
horrible though. Predator about to die. Obviously, Mr. Poopy Butthole stops the whole thing after seeing the reaction of his son and everything that was going on. Rick definitely wanted the skull. I don't think
Yeah.
that he would have left without it if they would have killed him, which makes
Yeah.
sense because remember the predators hold the skulls of their uh, trophies,
Right.
so it makes sense. Um, you know what? You think it's odd that Mrs. Poopy Butthole, uh, which we've learned that Wayne is Mr. Poopy Butthole's name.
That was out of
Never,
left field.
never seen that. Just like me dropping that MCU bomb. Uh, never saw that one coming. But at the same time, you wouldn't think that Mrs. Poopy Butthole would be with a predator.
Also out of left field.
That's Rick and Morty, baby. That's Rick and Morty, baby. But all else comes to conclusion. Happily ever after. The lesson was learned, and now we're in a better place. And like Mr. Poopy Butthole said, if this guy's gonna protect my ex and my child, what else could you really ask for
Right.
in a guardian? So
So,
he vows to get his stuff together, and we'll see him back on top.
question:
Sure.
did Hugh Jackman kill the Predator? I know he definitely knocked him out, but did he kill him? Because he wasn't
Didn't you
involved in the fight when they were jumping him. He was still hiding in the mud, and then he came back and just whacked him on the head.
didn't see the predator move after that?
Exactly.
I don't know if it was trauma or maybe he was just unconscious. You know, those
He did
ex
not
Arnold
get up.
Schwarzenegger, Danny Glover. Those son of a guns are hard to kill. Ex Adrian Brody. They're hard. They're hard to kill, man. You need a suit, a
Need
little mech
something.
suit. Well, I can't see how you're killing them without it because
I mean, they got close. I
they're
mean, they
one
just
ugly son
just
of a.
sheer outnumbered him.
What's the story with the gun?
I, I seriously think that's just their currency. Because I mean, you look at any Predator movie like Alien versus Predator. Predator gave Sonali a gun. You know,
Right?
it's like
Gave it to Danny Glover.
right. I'm just
I think
so
that's the first time. Doesn't make sense. You murdered like everybody I know.
just give you a
You
gun.
keep me alive. You give me a. It's hot. It's hot out here in these streets. Why you give me a musket? It's old one. All this advanced tech guns you got. All
Yeah,
these infrared three dots.
thermal vision, the automatic constricting net it's about to cut through bird person.
Got a shoulder cannon. What? Why you give me this? That's horrible, man.
Musket, single shot, gunpowder filled musket.
You know, John Wick. What's going on with this? You brought it a round table. Predator. Oh man, Rick and Morty is back,
It has
and
not lost
I'm
a single step.
Spider.
Yes, sir.
Is it super though?
Is
Season 7,
I mean, I
episode 1.
can't call a season. I mean, it just
Well,
started. Can't call it yet. I
season
mean,
7,
it's good.
episode
I
1.
enjoyed it, but
Oh wow, okay.
I can't call the season.
Episode 1
Was episode 1 super?
was episode 1 to kick off season 7 super.
Yeah, it was. It was, and I feel like I said the same thing with season 6 of Rick and Morty. It was Rick and Morty. It was everything that we love about Rick and Morty. The ridiculousness, but still on top of it, you get the heart from the characters that you weren't expecting to get. You know, who knew that episode 1 of season 7, after everything we went through in season 6, we were gonna get an episode dedicated to Mr. Poopy Butthole where he has some
Mm.
character growth. You know, it's you don't know what to expect out of this show, and every turn we didn't even talk about the robot ghost about how he loads business and then stops the upload of the business so the robot has unfinished business, and then you kill the robot and then make it a ghost. Like none of that makes sense. But how do you think of something like that? Like,
Oh yeah, they're on
I don't know.
shrooms in that writer's room.
It's
They gotta
something.
be.
But like I said, it is essential
I'm
Rick and
joking. I have
Morty,
no idea if they're
and
on
and
shrooms. I hope so.
it is always a good time. And even with the little bit of emotion and a little bit of like sincerity that we got in episode 1, I am really looking forward to those episodes where we get, you know, like more of that, where that's like more of the focus of the episodes. But I'm excited. No, I truly believe that episode 1 was super. But what about you, Mr. VIP Frank Washington? Was episode 1 of season 7 of Rick and Morty
Hey,
super?
listen, Rick and Morty is one of those shows. I I I fingers crossed wish they have a Simpsons run because
Oh, yeah,
of
that will be interesting.
because of the concepts and the stories and the tech and the adventures and the just all of the crashness, the rudeness, all. I'm here for it all because it's creatively done, very, very well creatively done. Is it super? Yes. Rick and Morty. It's Rick and Morty. It's
There's Rick and
everything
Morty.
that it's everything that Rick and Morty has established itself to be, and it never disappoints thus far. It's either concepts or comedy or parodies, or they're giving you something.
Right.
And every season has its strong episodes, has its weak episodes, and we will get into that as we continue to break the season down. I think they started this one pretty strong.
I agree.
Like I
I
said,
agree.
the only thing that was really worrying everyone, or at least me, but I can't speak for everyone. But if you want me to, leave a comment in the comment section and I'll read it. I won't speak for you though. Was the voiceover changeover from Justin to our new what's his name?
You got me looking it up again.
Okay, let's
So
see.
you
I'm
talk about
sorry.
the
I keep looking at
the voice actor for Rick or the voice actor for Morty?
both of them. So what I
Uh,
was saying,
Ian Cardoni voices Rick, and Harry Belden voices Morty.
Spider, thank you, sir. That's much respect. I was thinking that the only thing that they would lose by transitioning over from voice actors, which I hope that they don't, which I hope they give them the liberty to, but to find that joke within the pocket. You know how you're
Mm-hmm.
reading lines and sometimes you might think of something that may be funnier than what you actually read, and you may even say it, and sometimes they keep that
Right.
because it was funnier than what was written because it just flew in the pocket. With us changing voice actors, I thought that would be missing. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it still is missing because again, this is just episode 1 of season 7 of Rick and Morty. I would hope that they give those guys the opportunity to be able to have that freedom to not read line for line, but give them some freedom to be able to ad lib. Because again, some of the best stuff that Justin did was improv.
Right.
Like the two brothers and some of those advertisements for what's the cereal with the lucky and it was and the eye
The
hole
eye
man.
holes. Yeah.
I hope man, be careful. You'll come crashing your house and kick you
The guy that was
trying to
covered
fix
in
the eye hole.
ants selling doors.
Fake
Yeah.
doors. Fake doors and ants in his
yeah,
eyes.
ants in his
Like
eyes.
like all of that stuff was improv. And you could
Right.
tell it was improv, but
Because
it
none
was
of
some of
it
the
made
funniest
sense.
it
It's
was some of the
really
funniest stuff.
he went into the booth and just started going off on stuff, and they just animated around it.
Well, give those guys the opportunity to do so as well. And then it's not to say that we won't notice the difference, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that fun part of Rick and Morty is in question. We can do the story, we can do the script, we can do story beats and but that fun part,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I kind of want to say that I can't say for sure whether it was an ad lib line or if it was something that was scripted. But when in the scene where they're talking doing it with the robot ghost and the Smith family's in the garage with Rick and it doesn't work, and so now he's going back down into like his cellar or whatever, and he's kind of, I won't say flustered, but not really knowing what to say because his family's giving him shit about the robot ghost not working, and he calls them a bunch of stupids. And like normally, because he's like, you stupid bunch of stupids, and normally Rick is more calculated than that in his insults,
Mm.
but I feel like I feel like if it was something that was ad libbed, I feel like Justin would have probably just cursed them out. Where we have these newer actors, and I guess they're trying to put their own spin on things, even though it's
And they
something
should,
that's kind
yeah.
of uncharacteristic for Rick to say. It still lends into, you know, some of the comedic parts of it because it's Rick in a state that we normally don't get to see him in. Like we normally he does something, he has an idea and it works. It makes sense to him and it does what he intended it to do. And so with the robot ghost, it was just something that he was like, oh, he didn't think it all the way through. And again, and it also can kind of go into, him again looking for Rick Prime. He's so focused on that something that he could normally do in his sleep and have it work exactly the way he intended it to. Now he's slipping up. Wouldn't that be like an interesting arc for Rick? Yeah, because he's so focused
in the universe.
And what if that is what causes him to be able to find him? Because the smartest man in every universe, being Rick Prime, knows everything that Rick C-137 is going to do. So C-137 starts to slip up, makes mistakes. Rick Prime doesn't think that another Rick is going to make mistakes. So you can't account for the unaccountable.
Somebody cut the check.
Cut the check.
Cut the check to Spider Incorporated. Cut it. Just go ahead and put his name on it. We'll put my name like in there too, like
somewhere on
it is or something.
Spider and Associates.
All things super. Oh wow.
Listen, I'm just cashing the check. It all goes back into the show.
Yeah, I don't know. You ain't associates. It's Spider and Associates. No, just a VIP. Associates.
But
Rick and Morty is super, sir. Yes, it is.
And we will see where they take this storyline in the rest of the season. Yeah, one episode in. One episode in. But we
gotta go episode by episode.
Yeah, we got to.
They got weak ones.
It's the type of show that you can't just say, oh, I'll wait until the entire season is over and then binge watch it. Because after that, it's like you're missing out on so much. And especially in a format like this where we, come to you guys weekly. It would definitely be a disservice to not, and you also get a lot more of us. But I think I feel like the episodes kind of beg to be talked about weekly because they, and like you said, with the progression of the storyline of Rick chasing Rick Prime and everything that they get into in between, there's always going to be that underlying theme, that underlying emotion, that underlying, purpose to what they're trying to say in the episodes. And I think those definitely are the things that we like to hit on and we like to kind of discuss.
And we like to spend time with y'all. So there you go.
There you go.
So I throw that out there.
But let us know what you thought about episode 1 of season 7 of Rick and Morty, if you thought it was super, and let us know what you thought about this episode. Just remember, if you liked it, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below. It's an audio podcast thing.
I did one for the video and I did one for the audio.
You know what? That is fair. Fair and equitable.
I want to do things that make sense, sir. To me.
I don't know. Okay, to you. I'm glad you added that caveat at the end of it.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to finish your sentences.
That is very true. That is very true.
If not, you...
Gonna love it. They're gonna love it. That was for you, audio listeners. That was an audio specific joke, right for you.
I love y'all. I love y'all. Love you back.
But yeah, so we are going to be reviewing every single episode of season 7 of Rick and Morty. So come back, join us for the next one. But thank you so much for your love and support on this episode, and we will all see you all in the next one. But until then, just remember, keep being super.
And eat your vegetables.